Not all creatures with wings that can fly are necessarily angels. It's highly likely that he is a vampire. This particular monster had been dormant in an underground tomb for centuries. What caused him to resurface again? In the first installment, Selene swiftly sliced the elder Victor in half. Little did anyone know that Singe's blood had seeped into the tomb. The most powerful vampire in history was quietly awakening. Craven has always aspired to the throne of vampirism. Now that Victor was dead, all he needed to do was eliminate Markus before his awakening, and his wish would come true. It turns out Craven was overthinking things. The rising bronze coffin turned out to be empty. The crowd was still puzzled when Markus suddenly flew out of the tomb. Werewolf blood gives Markus a genetic mutation. A pair of spiky wings leaves Craven defenseless. Through Craven's blood, Markus knew all about it.
Exactly what I tell you to.
Craven paid the price for his betrayal with his life. After killing the elder vampire, Selene and Michael are on the run for their lives. During the day, they sought refuge in vampire-safe houses scattered throughout various locations. Although these places stored ample amounts of blood, they were far from secure. Using the surveillance system, Markus had already located their whereabouts. Michael, unaccustomed to the taste of blood, sneaked into a small tavern in search of a satisfying meal. What Michael doesn't know is that human food is deadly poison to him. As expected, Michael had just taken a few bites and was in pain in his abdomen. At that moment, a wanted announcement for Michael aired on television. Russian soldiers, observing Michael's abnormal behavior, aimed their rifles, ready to shoot. It was when Michael caught a glimpse of his dark eyes in the mirror that he regained a flicker of his humanity. Michael was shot multiple times in the body on the way out. Upon hearing the gunfire, Selene rushed to the scene, demonstrating her deadly skills against their pursuers. Although the gunshot wounds were not fatal, they left Michael exceedingly weak. Selene made Michael drink her blood. Yet, an even greater crisis awaited them. Suddenly, an unidentified flying object whizzed past Selene's head. As the forest's birds scattered in fear, Markus descended with flapping wings. Surprisingly, Markus had not come to avenge Victor. Lucian the Wolf's necklace is Markus's real target. In order to shake off Markus' pursuit, Selene and Michael arrived at a highway. Michael instantly transformed and forced a truck to stop, while Selene accelerated forward. However, Markus quickly caught up with them. With a newly healed Michael had no way back but to fight. One is a vampire progenitor and the other is a half-werewolf, half-vampire with 3 different blood types, and they are fighting to the death. They fought fiercely, with Selene providing fire support. In the heat of the confrontation, Markus lost his necklace. Markus was enraged and shifted his aim of attack. Seeing an opportunity, Selene swiftly turned the steering wheel, crashing into the mountainside and causing a frantic collision that temporarily threw Markus off. At that moment, the sun was slowly rising on the horizon, revealing the weakness of vampires. Fortunately, Michael, being a hybrid, was unaffected by sunlight. He drove the truck into an abandoned factory, sealing all the windows with paint to protect his beloved Selene. The vampire's regenerative abilities proved formidable. Markus' broken wings healed on their own. Selene had suffered severe burns. Michael hurriedly fetched a first aid kit, but Selene's wounds were already healing. Michael couldn't help but be captivated by her beautiful face. Skipping over 10,000 words, please use your imagination for the following scenes. As night fell the next day, Selene looked at the Wolf King's necklace beside her and suddenly felt as though she had seen it in her childhood. However, she didn't understand why Markus was willing to go to any lengths to obtain it. In order to unlock its secrets, Selene decided to find the vampire historian Tanis, believing that he might have the answers she sought. Tanis had been exiled for 300 years after offending Victor, but he lived a lavish life during his exile. When Selene and Michael broke into Tanis' domain, alarms immediately sounded. However, the werewolf guards were no match for them, and they quickly bypassed the defense system.
You don't scare me, Selene.
Once inside, Selene soon realized that all the UV bullets used by the werewolves were provided by Tanis. That's why the werewolf king, Lucian, had sent werewolves to protect Tanis. Under Selene's interrogation, Tanis revealed the truth. It turned out that Victor was not the first vampire. When Victor was on the brink of death, Markus approached him and turned him into a vampire, granting him eternal life. In return, Victor promised to use his army to help Markus capture his brother William, the progenitor of the lichens and possessing immense power. As the first werewolf, William was brutal by nature and unable to change back to his human form. Many villages were ruthlessly destroyed by him. After millennia of evolution, the werewolves learned to control their rage and regain their human appearance. With Victor's assistance, William was successfully captured, but Markus was unwilling to kill his own brother. Markus therefore concocted the lie that once the ancestors of vampires and werewolves were killed, then their offspring would also die. So Victor built a special prison for William. Selene's father had been ordered to build the prison. The necklace that Markus tried so hard to get was the key to the prison. To maintain the secrecy of the prison's location, Victor mercilessly killed everyone involved in its construction. As for what Markus was really after with William, Tanis wasn't sure. In order to stay alive, Tanis reveals the only mystery man who can stop Markus, Alexander, the common ancestor of vampires and werewolves. Markus arrived just as they were leaving.
Tanis.
By extracting Tanis' blood, Markus got information about the key in Selene's visit to Alexander. The key was split into two parts, with one half on Selene and the other half hidden within Victor's flesh. After the intense battle, Alexander reclaimed the bodies of Lucian and the others. He opened Victor's chest and retrieved the other half of the key. Selene and Michael managed to meet Alexander through the key. However, just like most parents, Alexander couldn't bear to kill his own children, despite the havoc they had wreaked upon humanity. While both sides were arguing about this, Markus came out of nowhere and the unsuspecting Michael was stabbed through the body and thrown onto a steel pipe. Selene tried to resist, but she was no match for Markus. Through Selene's blood, Markus accessed her memories and acquired the location of the prison. In order to obtain the other half of the key, Markus didn't hesitate to attack his father. The reason why Markus went out of his way to release William, it was because Markus wanted to unite with his brother to create a whole new species. No one can stop the plan to be the master of the world, not even his own father. Alexander realizes that time is running out and there is only one way to stop this evil plan now. Alexander quickly called Selene over and, in front of her, cut his own wrist.
What will I become?
The future.
This was no ordinary blood, it was the pure blood of the first immortal bloodline. Selene's strength soars after inhaling. They were running out of time. The winged Markus has reached the prison where William was sealed. Selena gets into Alexander's helicopter and follows close behind, with an unconscious Michael by her side. Before dying, Alexander detonated a bomb, putting an end to his legendary and long life. Inside the prison, Markus merged the two halves of the key. And the first werewolf progenitor, imprisoned for hundreds of years, was finally set free. The awakened William immediately displayed his ferocious nature, relying on her childhood memories. Selene led the team forward. When they reached the interior of the iron prison, it was already empty. Unbeknownst to them, they had fallen into a trap. Suddenly, two brothers attacked, catching them off guard. Human bullets had no effect on the two creatures, and team members fell one after another. Selene's strength has increased as a result of feeding on Alexander's blood, and she can now fight Markus to a standstill. However, Selene didn't want to engage with Markus any longer. Taking the key she had just removed from the iron cell, Selene inserted it into the stone wall. A massive stone door descended, temporarily trapping Markus. Selene knows how dangerous William is, and the consequences of letting him escape from the cave would be unthinkable. But the bullets couldn't do William any harm. Selene throws two exploding darts and the violent blast causes the top of the cave to crumble to the ground. As the dust clears, a large hole appears above. At that moment there was a strange noise from behind Selene. To her surprise, all the team members who had been bitten by William had transformed into ferocious and aggressive werewolves. Selene was instantly surrounded. Mike lives up to his reputation as a man with 3 genes. After a short break, Michael is now back to full strength. With Selene and Michael working together, the werewolves are all killed, isolated and pinned down by heavy artillery fire. William was unable to move. Meanwhile, Markus, who was trapped, sensed that William was in trouble. He swiftly transformed and exerted his immense strength to lift the stone door, freeing himself from confinement. Markus's strength was astonishing as he effortlessly pulled down the helicopter above. causing it to plummet into the cavern. The ultimate showdown ensues. Michael's strength completely overwhelmed William, and after just a few rounds, Michael tore William apart with his bare hands. With his brother dead, Markus's plan was a complete failure. In a fit of rage, Markus attempted to impale Selene with his spikes, but to his surprise, it backfired, and he lost his own life in the process. After a night of fierce fighting, the werewolf and the vampire ancestor are dead. As the sun rose, Selene was astonished to find that she no longer feared sunlight. This is the result of sucking Alexander's blood. Selene is blessed with an evolution that gives her powers that vampires can only dream of. A new Daywalker was born,